So, all right, special guest, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Nami Neko. I exist on the internet in various forms and places. I just recently started doing midriff and tummy content, but I also do live streaming and all sorts of fun things that are lewd in nature a lot of the time.
So I saw your content like popping up more recently, like in the belly button community, even though you're like more midriff focused and not solely like honed in on the belly button. And I felt like there was enough overlap on our content where maybe we could produce some content together, and here you are.
And here I am. I just happen to be in the area. I don't live anywhere here near here, but
it's like the most casual thing.
yeah, and it worked out. Met up with them and vibes were good, and yeah, we had a good time.
Because that's super important.
It very much is. I don't like doing anything with people that I don't mesh well with, for sure.
Yeah. So we filmed a few videos today. We even let's start with the mold, because that was like the biggest thing today.
The mold, yeah.
So we attempted to do like a full belly mold of you and didn't quite go right in the end.
No, but it was a fun experience. I hate that you had to waste so much material, but...
Oh, I think what we walked away with is like invaluable in terms of just like knowing what not to do now.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. That's the best thing about art projects. You figure out what not to do.
I know. And I was super thankful that like you were so patient through it and everything. But so this is like your first time doing belly button play with somebody else?
Yes, I would say with somebody who actually has the fetish. I've like asked people to do it, but not necessarily people who are already fetishized, that sort of thing.
Got you. So what would you say, were you like, was there a reluctance going in? Were you curious about what it might all feel like in the end? Or do you feel like you were pretty solid on like how things would feel?
I think, there's always curiosity with doing something that you've never done before. And I wouldn't say reluctance, though. I think that it was already something that I kind of wanted to get more into, and people have requested it and stuff. So I was ready. I was ready to go.
So how often do those requests like flood in?
Here and there, more and more since I've been more prominent in the community, I suppose. But I feel like it's like frequent enough to the point where it definitely makes me want to do more of that sort of content.
Got you.
And it's fun because it's a part of the body that people don't usually fetishize. And who doesn't like rubbing a tummy or looking at the stomach, and then the stomach is a hole, and you go from there. So
what kind of stuff did you guys do today? Because I wasn't here. I was at work, so I didn't see any of it.
Yeah, so we met up at 2:00. I had to go buy more material for the mold stuff, and so after the mold stuff, which took like, I don't know, I want to say like an hour plus.
Yeah.
Then we moved into our first video, which is just like a basic like inspection video. And to me, that's kind of like a way for me to get familiarized with your belly button, but for also like everybody watching that video to know like how it moves, like how deep it is, how it changes shape under different pressures and stuff like that.
Right.
And I don't know, like I feel like I discovered things about your belly button that I wouldn't have guessed at like first glance. Like one, way deeper than it looks at face value. Yeah. And two, like you have a lot of, I don't know, interesting details on the inside, but then you have that one spot like towards the top that sends that like shock into you.
Definitely. Yeah. I've never looked in depth inside of my belly button. So
I know, like, so I set up the monitor for you.
Yeah.
I set up the monitor for you so you could like watch, like, what were you learning about your belly button? Now you got to see it like super up close.
That it has a bottom. I mean, I guess I haven't really like had anything that small and like looked in there like that because you can't really do that with your fingers.
Yeah.
Not with mine at least.
Yeah.
I can't see the bottom with just like pulling it apart. So, I could see all the little like ridges and like the back end, there's like the scar bit and stuff, and it's kind of neat.
So after that, we ended up going into, what was the next video that we did? So, actually a part of that video, you tried suction for the first time.
Yes.
What's the review? So walk us through what happened.
Okay, so he's like, so we got this one and we got that one. We get two little sucker guys, and like, which one do you want to try? I'm like, I guess this one, and like we tried it on like just my arm first so that I got the idea of how it worked, and I was like, oh, that ain't shit, so it's fine. And I was like, yeah, let's use that one, and he's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, whatever. And it like immediately like protruded out, and I was like, oh. It didn't feel as much as I thought that it would, but it definitely like looked interesting and weird.
Yeah, because you were saying that like the visual shock of it was greater than how it felt.
Absolutely. Like it really didn't feel like much at all.
Yeah.
I could only kind of feel it like where the plastic was on like the edges of my belly button. Yeah.
But yeah, that was wild. You never done any Outie play before.
Never
but you've
done.
Seen it.
Yeah, I have seen a little bit of that. And it wasn't necessarily like, it didn't have such a sensation where I could say like it felt really good, but it wasn't bad at all, and it was like weird and cool. It was interesting.
So when you first saw any Outie content, you said that like a follower of yours like sent you a video to kind of like along with a request to be like, this is what I'm talking about, this is what I want. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that for the first time?
I was like, I'm not going to do that. Because of how it looks like it's quite painful, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it does. It looks like it's going to hurt.
It looks intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a part of me that's inside. It doesn't go out. Like, not mine.
Yeah.
But no, after doing it, like, it's totally something I would do again, now that I know what it feels like.
Got you. Okay. So, I think my favorite part of the day was we filmed like almost like I don't know, it felt very like lingerie photo shoot vibes, you know, where I just handheld the camera while you just sort of like did your thing, like revealed it, fingered it a little bit, like, I don't know, like the aesthetic of it, like,
oh, it was so aesthetic.
It blew my mind. Like I feel like it turned out so cool.
Yeah.
Were those for photos or videos?
Both.
That's
Both.
cool.
So like I filmed in like super slow motion, and the screenshots that we're gonna get from that are gonna be like insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm like super hyped to show you and to show everybody.
Yes.
But yeah, like I don't know, I just really appreciated how like aware of the camera you were. Like it was super easy to work with you. Like I would just like move the camera and she would know where it's going, so the hand would follow, and it was a breeze, which was really cool.
Yeah, I the little bit that I saw I was really happy with, and I have nothing that's that high quality out there in the world, so I'm really excited to get to see that for sure.
So tell me, there's got to be like people listening to this podcast that have like no fucking idea who you are. So like give them a little like rundown of how long you've been doing this stuff. And
sure. So I wish I had like a cool origin story for like how I got into doing this sort of thing. But so I've been chronically online for 6 years now, and I mostly do live streaming on adult sites and also Twitch. I do a little content here and there on the sides. And I started posting more on Reddit. And I just took a picture at some point in time, and I remember looking at it and thinking, oh, damn, my tummy looks good in that one. I'm going to post it on a midriff subreddit. I'm pretty sure it's r/midriff, probably. And so I just posted that, and it got like a lot of people like talking about how nice it looked and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe I'll do a little bit more of this. I'd never really like thought to myself all that much about like my midsection and how I liked it. But I think I did. And from there on, I just kind of kept posting, and I do midriff pictures every Monday, so I do midriff Monday. And it's been a year now, a little over a year, of doing midriff pictures every Monday on Twitter and Reddit. And so I just kind of grew from there. And obviously, if I'm doing all of my tummy, there's been plenty of people who also ask, like, well, do you do like belly button play specifically? And I'm like, oh, sure. Why not? Yeah. So that's kind of how I got started into it, and pretty new. So there's lots of things that I haven't tried, and I'm excited to know about and learn about.
Yeah,
definitely.
What kind of stuff do you do on your Twitch or like any streaming thing? Like, what does that look like when you stream?
So it can be very porny sometimes, or sometimes it's very.
And just to be clear, you don't exactly stream on. I mean, you do stream on Twitch, but it's
I do, but it's
rare. Right?
It's not as much as I would.
And what's the main thing you stream on?
I guess I can say that on Instagram.
Yeah.
So I stream on Chatterbait mostly. I would say that's like my primary place where I exist, where you can find me easily. And yeah, so it's just me hanging out, shooting the shit, and flashing and doing lewd things occasionally. And then when I'm streaming on Twitch, I usually do like Tetris. Do Tetris Tuesdays. I like the days of the week things.
Walk me through the fascination with Tetris. Like, has it been your thing for like since you were a kid or what?
So it's funny because I recently got back into it, like maybe 3 years ago, and I thought I just got into it. I just started playing Tetris again, and I'm not gonna bore you with too many of the Tetris details, but
Tetris lore.
Yeah, there's some lore, yeah. But I just started playing it, and then like as I was playing it more and more, I realized I had these thoughts of when I was a kid. I did play Tetris quite a lot, and I played like off-brand Tetris, like some kind of like CD-ROM disc that was like Block Breaker or whatever.
No way.
I played the shit out of that, and it's kind of like felt like the only game I've ever really been like very good at.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get crazy with competitive Tetris. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it.
Never seen it.
No.
Never seen it.
It's crazy. It's like, wow, that's impressive. That's very impressive. I mean, you probably heard about that little news article that was going around that's like the 11-year-old kid beat Tetris.
Yeah.
You probably heard about that, right?
Now, does he get to, what do they call that screen?
The
kill screen? Is that how it ended or what?
No, not really. It was more of like, I don't want to go into all the specifics, but essentially he got to the point where the game glitched out. It didn't acquire the true kill screen, I guess, but it got to the point where the game was having trouble functioning. But if you know which moves to make in this is classic Tetris specifically, if you know which moves to make, you can avoid those like false kill screens where it'll lag the game out and you can keep going. And the game gets confused and does all this funky shit, and there's like all sorts of weird like colors.
Okay, so someone can go about it differently and go beyond.
Exactly, and that's what they're working on right now. Like since that the kid who beat Tetris came out, there's been tons more people that have beat that and continuing forward and just going.
No
for
shit.
It. Yep. So.
That's sad that his like he only got like a few seconds of fame.
I will say though that he's also one of the people beating the records regularly. So so he's still in the running.
Do you ever see The King of Kong?
No.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's about competitive Donkey Kong.
No.
It is one of the best documentaries in the fucking world.
Really?
It's
so
like
good.
I don't know if you've seen The Office.
Yeah.
But it's very like Jim versus Dwight. You know.
Okay.
It's like.
But like. Dwight is this
What's
asshole
his name?
Billy Mitchell who like beat Donkey like set the world record when he was like younger. And he's just a dick. Like he just oozes
great.
that energy. And there's this guy who is from like the Midwest, and his name is Steve Wiebe, and he's like the purest soul. Like he's like such a good guy, and he is like, oh, that's the record. I could beat that.
Yeah.
And
say less. Yeah.
And anyway, it's just like a fucking amazing documentary following these two guys going at it, like this good versus evil type thing. And but anyway, yeah, like that opened my eyes to like competitive like arcade gaming.
Right. Yeah. And then like speed running is a huge thing. I know. Like I'm not in the community, but I know like my friends in the speed running community, and he tells me all about that sort of thing.
So I guess with the way Tetris is, there's no real way to speed run it, right?
Oh, I mean, not speed running specifically, but like there's so many different Tetris games now. The one that they have like the typical tournament and championship for is classic Tetris, but I don't even honestly like classic that much. Or maybe it's just because I'm not old enough to really appreciate it properly or whatever. But I like to hold a piece, and with classic you can't hold a piece, and there's other things you can't do.
Yeah.
But it's basically like in order to get a good Tetris score, it's usually how fast can you clear a certain amount of lines.
Okay.
That's generally what is seen as like.
So like twisting it correctly and then slamming it to the bottom?
Yes. And like, and then you clear a line.
Yeah.
So each time you clear a line, it'll add up. And it's like basically how fast can one clear 40 lines or whatever. And then that's your 40 line speed.
Yeah.
And so that's a good way to like determine if somebody's really good.
Dude, I want to dive into this like so bad. Like I want to like look shit up.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun, and people are crazy. I've entered like I've entered two tournaments at like anime conventions and stuff. And first one I actually did pretty good. It was an older Tetris, and then the second one I got immediately crushed. So
no way.
Yeah, immediately. And I'm not too shabby, but there are people that are serious about that shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so we also filmed a licking video.
Mm-hmm.
And
technically two.
And you seemed to, for some reason, the sensations that are associated with that were like way more in a better direction than fingering or suction or anything like that.
Right. I think because it's like naturally intimate to have somebody's tongue on your skin.
Yeah.
I mean, not everybody likes that, but to some degree, I definitely like it if it's like in the right. If somebody licks me randomly, I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah.
You know, like
it's like off the street. It's like, whoa, guy.
Right. But if it's like in a sensual manner like that, it's definitely feels good. And I do like the idea of like tummy worship in general, which would, in my eyes, include an awful lot of licking.
Yeah.
And kissing and sucking and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, it felt good. It felt nice.
And you were saying that you added that as like a menu item on your Chatterbait?
I did when I was doing, when I do like various collaboration streams and stuff with other people, if they're cool with it, I'll add it. And it's kind of hilarious, honestly, because the last time I did it, it was with a friend of mine, Ivy, and her friend Tyler. And we put it on there and somebody tipped for it. And Ivy, she had the best reaction, I think, that most people would enjoy, because she was like, she freaked out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she was super into it.
No, she wasn't super into it. She was like, oh my God. Yeah. It was funny. It was really funny. And
speaking of that reaction, that was very much like you today we did like a little bit of a tickling video, and that was fucking hilarious.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Pretty funny, yeah.
Like you had spots that just like convulsed your body, like
I had
like I've never seen.
Yeah, I had honestly no control over that at certain times.
That's so funny.
And so walk me through. I don't know if you want to go into your image of being a dom and how we need to kind of like navigate that with our videos today.
Yeah. So, I mean, short of me just like saying dominant things or giving commands or instruction or whatever, I kind of took it more in like a generally vanilla light when we did stuff today, because that was kind of just easier. And it wasn't like, I don't know much about you, and I don't usually dom people without knowing a little bit of background in general. I don't particularly like doing things that people don't really like specifically enjoy doing. So I took it more of definitely like a vanilla light, but I wanted to make sure that it didn't come off as though I was the one being dominated in any of the situations.
Yeah, walk me through that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that includes like not being restrained, or I mean, sometimes camera angles can, I feel like, have an effect on that, but
no, you're very right. Like the camera angles can show someone in a certain light. I feel like I try to enhance that a little bit by like putting the camera below you, looking up at you,
Certainly.
Especially that like very last thing that we filmed.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, to show you like over me almost.
Yeah, that's usually how I film a lot of my content and stuff too, is from like lower shots.
Yeah.
But I mean, as long as like the person, like you in this situation, is not going to be like talking to me like I'm the submissive, then it's not really too big of a deal for me. But I mean, I am a dom, and I don't want people to think otherwise, especially since I look pretty young as it is. I'm all like cute and stuff, but I'll fuck you up. That's my angle.
Yeah. No, but that was fun. I feel like I like doing tickling videos. I think I could say that like wholeheartedly now. Like I
even
like
though I was like practically like headbutting you.
Yeah.
How violent did it get?
So I was sitting on her knees, and then like when I hit like that crease here, like in her thighs, she full on like crunched up and headbutt me like in the
my
chest.
God.
Like,
I had no control over it. I immediately just shot up.
No, but we had like the ground rules that we sort of laid down was like, would you be okay with me like still forcing you through that? You know, so we had a safe word that she could say. So, but she didn't use it, which I was very surprised.
I was close at first. I was like, no.
What was the safe word?
Red.
I just did like stoplight rules.
Yeah,
typically.
that's smart. Some people make it so complex.
I don't want to accidentally forget my safe word because I'm in like another headspace.
So when you say, so you would use yellow light to like, hey, slow down.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
And if you were like, if there was a situation where I had to, I mean, usually you wouldn't say green light unless you were just like giving me eyes like, is this okay? Then I could be like green light.
Got you.
Or green. Yeah.
Okay, fucking learning new things here. Like
it's like an easy safe words, you know,
totally.
like much easier than figuring out a particular word, because then it's just that's the cutoff.
And it's just it's not a kill switch. It's I can guide you through it a little bit more while not like totally getting out of character or
getting out of and I mean in kink situations, like being in subspace or being in dom space is it can be very serious. And if you get out of it, then you're not having a good time anymore, and it completely throws everything off sometimes. Yeah.
So what type of things do you like? Like what type of content do you want to like film the most, I guess?
I really love gentle femdom, actually. I think that's probably like my favorite thing in my personal life, so it also shines in my content.
And so walk the listener through who has no idea what that means.
Yeah, so when you think femdom, you probably think a lady in latex with a whip who's got high heels on and is telling you to get on your knees. So, or pegging you or whatever, you know, like in one of those scenarios. But that's only one sect of femdom for sure, because females should be able to dominate in any way that they want to be able to, and it doesn't have to be all latex and whips unless you want it to be. I like more soft doming, which usually entails a lot more like caregiving and like praise. I'm pretty much a pleasure top at this point. I like to do things for the other person so that they're happy and they're comfortable. Or sometimes, I'll tell them what to do, but
so you said pleasure top. That means there's different types of tops?
Oh, totally.
Walk me through it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like an expert, but I've been doing kink stuff for a decent amount of time. Like a pleasure top is somebody who focuses on the other person's pleasure as opposed to like let's see, I don't really know what they're called, but like a different kind of top, which is more along the lines of you do what I say. But it's like, for me, it's like, what would you like? I would like to do what you do, but I'm giving you that. It's not like, it's not in the sense of the service necessarily. Service tops are a thing too, but so yeah, it's much more caregiving and easy on people. I still like doing more intensive stuff like bondage and pegging and various things, but it can just be nice to have somebody who feels safe with you and kind of like relinquishes that control to you in like more easy ways. I also really like pet play type things as well, and that's it. I think it falls under the same category really. And it's, I mean, because if you have a submissive, what do you call them? You know, are you my little puppy, or are you my good boy, or are you my good girl, whatever, you know. So so that kind of like falls under that general category too. There's a lot of different ways to explore it, but yeah, I would say that's the kind of content that I enjoy making the most. I'd like a lot of time it's just solo stuff, so I'll do JOIs or just videos where, I mean, either I'm doing whatever to myself and I'm kind of like telling you what you should be doing, or just kind of speaking, I guess, in kind of like dominant vibes.
Do you feel like that's always come natural to you?
I think I was a switch for a long time because I didn't want to limit myself. And so I have more experience in the past being more submissive because honestly, kind of easy. You don't have to do any of the work most of the time. But since I made this switch to be like fully dominant, so totally easy, yeah.
Because like I find it so difficult to be in a headspace where I'm not thinking about every little word that's coming out of my mouth. Like I feel like I'm so hyper aware of what I'm saying that it takes me out of the moment almost, you know? So like I'm still getting used to like dirty talk type stuff and trying to like stay in it, you know? It's a total headspace thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like overthinking it. Yeah.
I'm very much overthinking it. Yeah.
That's why like things like the stoplight system is like a lot easier because you need to stay in that headspace, whatever you do. And usually like in kink scenes, you want to do all your negotiation and talking about how you're going to do things prior to it. So you don't have to be out of that headspace by stopping and saying, hey, should we do this or that? You're not ever supposed to, or kink rules are like, you're never supposed to negotiate during a scene or whatever. But, obviously, that's up to the person.
I feel like she's almost like our kink Sherpa, like to like guide us around here.
Like I said, I'm no expert, but it's all about what feels right, you know, what feels good, and trying new things.
Yeah. So, have you ever done like sex parties or kink parties or anything like that?
Yeah. I have a membership at my local one.
Oh no shit! There's a local thing for you?
Yeah, I think there honestly is like a local dungeon pretty much every big city.
Yeah.
Or sometimes multiple, but we only have one where I'm from.
And so how does like fetish stuff play into those like scenes? Because I feel like when I find group meetup stuff that is fetish based, it's very BDSM type, you know, that's kind of like the thing that's like leading the way.
Yeah.
And I always wondered how smaller, more specific fetishes like fit into those groups. Like, is there room to explore belly button play at these things? Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, so I agree that like when you go to those sort of things, it's a lot of like impact play, and it's funny because like I don't really care that much for impact play either on either side, really. Like if somebody wants to be beaten, I'll beat them, whatever. But that's my pleasure top coming out, and I'll do it if you want me to, like, you know, whatever. But I don't I'm no sadist. I don't really enjoy inflicting pain. So you have to kind of explore beyond that.
Yeah.
And I think there's totally room for more niche fetishes, but it's all, I mean, I think a lot of people would be open to trying it, but I think a lot of people wouldn't know anything about it. Like in any average kink scene, I think you would have less people who actually know anything about belly button fetishes, but would be willing to like try things, because people are usually pretty open in those settings to like trying new things, especially if they know nothing about it. Like, oh, new kink unlocked.
So I did 2 meetups recently with people who are like in the kink community, who were down to have their belly buttons molded, and in conversation with them, they were like ears perked up, like, what is this? You know, I've never heard of it before. There was like
different.
There was like an excitement behind it, you know, and
exactly.
It felt good being around that type of energy where they were like excitedly curious about it and not just like, oh, what? You know what I mean?
Oh, like definitely. I think in the kink community is obviously the spot for that more than anywhere else.
But yeah, I've always wondered like how those like parties play out. Like, how would you go about, like, you just fucking show up with your doctor bag full of fucking toys and suction toys and things to prod around, and you like a kissing booth type thing.
You put a sign out.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. You could just like start talking to people, and I think that's kind of generally how most scenes end up happening.
Yeah.
Unless you talk online first. There's always that. There's always like talking online first and being like, hey, I'm going to be at this event if you want to try this thing. Or you can just go to the events and start talking to people and be like, this is my kink. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
And some of them will definitely be interested.
That's interesting. I never thought of putting it out there like, I'm going to be here at this place this time if you want to try some shit. Like,
absolutely. Yeah, people love experiencing new things like that.
Just enhancing the booth like visual to me. Just have all your stuff laid out and you're just like sitting there like
like I'm like some like carnival.
Yeah, just like waiting.
Wait, you said something earlier that intrigued me. You said that after dipping your toe in belly button play, that you started going up to your friends to see what type of belly buttons they have.
Oh, yeah. That's a real thing that happens.
Is it really?
Any of my friends are listening right now can attest to that. I'm like, hey, what kind of belly button do you have? Or I'll just be looking. I'm like, you have an Outie? Because I want to take pictures with somebody who has an Outie, and I don't know anyone who does.
You're just like on the hunt for an Outie.
I was on the hunt. Yeah. The best thing I got was like a really, really shallow one, but that is not the same.
So what's your fascination with finding an Outie?
Just think it'll look cool in comparison to mine. You know, it's like, are
you gonna do like some belly button sex type photos? Or?
Oh my God, maybe. I haven't thought that far ahead. I haven't found one yet.
I haven't figured out what I would do if I found one.
Yeah. A midriff Monday picture is the first step, and then I'll go from there. Oh my God. If they're down to do content, then I'll do more content.
If you were at like the grocery store and you saw one and you're like, oh, that's what I've been waiting for. Like, would you approach them and be like, can I take a picture?
Oh, the desire.
Like, if they seem cool.
Yeah, if they seem cool, I would. Yeah. I actually have met people like in that same day and like told them what I do and then been like, what kind of belly button do you have?
Get the fuck out, really?
That has happened to me before. If the situation arises correctly.
Do you get anybody weirded out, or do you feel like it's you always find the right timing and it's always a playful thing?
I think they're not like truly weirded out. I'm pretty easygoing and approachable, and like I say a lot of things in an easy way, you know, like I'm not trying to be creepy to anyone, and I would never subject someone to a fetish that they're very uninterested in. And if they were like, what? Then I would like just drop it.
Yeah.
But usually they're like, what are you talking about? What? I'm like, yeah, you know, I do this thing. So
I really appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely.
Like, did you have a good time?
I did. It was a great time. There's going to be some sweet videos out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for everybody to see it. But no, thank you for coming out. And I think we'll leave it at that.
See ya.
Bye.
See ya.